Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Kephart coming to you from the greater Cedar Rapids, Iowa area. Dox ourselves here, but are we tired of winning yet? Like I keep saying each week, it's been a month, a little over about a month and a week now since Trump has taken office, and it feels like we should be in week or year three, going into year three. I mean, everything that's going on is it's just full steam ahead. Um, I caught a thing. It was on, I think it was on Fox News, talking about Donald Trump. The first month had taken over 1,000 questions, and Biden had taken like not. It was under 200 questions. It was like I think it was under 150 questions. Uh, which it goes to show you it's uh he will sit there and take question after question. I mean, he did that on his the night that of the inauguration. I mean, he sat there signing these executive orders and just taking question after question, not even about the subject matter that he's signing about. It could be about something different. And he has no script. And, I've always wondered what it's like to be his speechwriter, because I swear if you summed up some of his rallies and his speeches, that I've been to personally and watched on TV, the speechwriter, I swear, writes like a 20-minute speech, and then Trump ends up taking it 3 hours because that's just the way he is. He's a hell of a good speaker. But yeah, I did find that Trump has taken from January 20th to February 19th of this year. Trump took off 1,009 questions. During the same time period, back in 2021, Joe Biden took 141. So right there shows you all the transparency, which is great. This is what we want. Transparency in the government has been lacking, for the better terms of the English language at this point in time. And we're waking up. Um, we've kind of foiled their plans, and I don't know if Trump really realized what he was doing when he did win in 2016. That and we ended up, to keep him out of office for his second term. We had to unleash this pandemic out that kept a lot of people at home. It shuttered a lot of mom and pop businesses for sure. And they never will recover from that. A lot of it financially, emotionally is terrible, but people spend more time at home, you know, and started doing more research and seeing how terrible the government has been to its people for decades now. We are literally talking decades. What we're at, where we're at right now, did not happen overnight. I mean, Rome didn't collapse in a day. It never has. Um, and this has been the plan, but like I've said, way before Trump was elected, this is their plan. I mean, they want to get rid of the middle class. The middle class is obsolete to them. They hate it. They want to go back to the monarchy. That is the reason why democracy is mentioned so many times by all these leftist idiots that don't understand that we do not live in a democracy. Our founding fathers wrote extensively about democracy and how terrible of an idea it was. Democracy leads to totalitarianism. Can't speak. They knew that when they wrote wrote the Constitution. That's why you will never find one time in the Declaration of Independence to the Constitution of the word democracy. Democracy is terrible. We live in a republic. Our republic can last longer because it's more for the people instead of a simple majority could subvert powers, and that's one of the reasons why we're kind of fortunate. Everybody wants a third party in there. I get it. But having a third party and even a fourth party, now you get more backroom deals that get done, that we lose the transparency where one party is going to scratch another party's back over the third party. This is how the parliament and stuff like that works in Israel, and the reason why Benjamin Netanyahu ended up getting kicked out for a little bit there. And it wasn't that his party was the majority, but because another party that had hardly any power collaborated with two other parties, their votes outvoted the majority party. So that's why we kind of are blessed that we do just have a two-party system. We can keep it more 50-50. And we're seeing the transparency coming out. Doge is just going nuts. It's wonderful to see these people squirm. It's eating at them. Oh, you're killing people with, you said US aid money is that has to go to these people because it's their food, it's this, it's that. Okay. I don't have a problem with some of that. I really don't want my tax money going to that, first of all. But there's no accountability. Congress has not been doing their job of looking over all their paperwork to make sure that everything's going where it should be going, instead of stuff getting laundered to different, through NGOs, back to congressional people. I mean, we just had Bob Mendez from New Jersey there get indicted and then found guilty, and now he is serving a lengthy prison sentence for representing a foreign government while he was a senator in the U.S. Senate. And now we've got an ethics file's been filed against Senator Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island. So again, and this has to do with laundering money, more or less, from NGO money through his wife that works. I think she worked there or whatever. Anyway, it's a conflict of interest when you are voting on something. This is voting on something that's going to affect how your family gets paid. This is just tip of the iceberg. I mean, and I don't think this came out of this did not come out of Doge. This came out of another watchdog group that first brought it up. What was their name? It was I can't find it right this second. But anyway, they're again, and this one has to do with an environmental nonprofit group. A lot of these nonprofits, just like the Clinton Foundation, they have 93% or higher operating costs. So that means, you give them $1, 7 cents goes to the actual cause, if you're lucky. I mean, we don't know what happened to the billions of dollars that was funneled through the Clinton Foundation for the Haiti earthquake, along with billions of dollars of taxpayers' money that went down to Haiti, and nothing really got fixed. I mean, at the time, and just speaking honestly, $1 billion would build a lot of houses down there because they didn't lose that much when shacks break. They break. I mean, $1 billion would go a long way to put everybody in a house. So what happened to all that money? I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars. Well, it's been funneled here and funneled there, and Chelsea Clinton's worth close to $500 million. Or you know, this has been the scheme, and this is some of the stuff that Doge is going through and digging out. I mean, we got people in Social Security rolls that are older than the nation itself. So are they getting paid? I don't know. They've got to do a little bit more digging. They did uncover the one I think was a 150-year-old that was actively getting a paycheck. So, but you know, stuff needs to be cleared up, and this is what we voted for. We voted for a lot more. We wanted this transparency. We knew that our government has been spending our money on frivolous stuff. And we've really been demanding why you can go in and be in Congress making $180,000 a year and come out in a couple of years and we be worth millions of dollars. This does not happen to anybody. I mean, you are one lucky son of a bitch to be able to get that kind of return on your money. That's great. I would love to know that trick, but it's that's not going to happen. But we're going to see more and more of these people fleeing the ship. McConnell did announce that he's stepping down. Duh. We knew you were going to step down. You've stepped out a few times while still standing, and you've didn't actually get that foot down a few times too. It really looks like Congress is one big ass daycare, but that's saying a lot. Our Chuck's Chuck jeez, Chuck Grassley. I'll get to the other Chuck thing. Chuck Grassley, our senator, he's pushing 90. He'll be like, I forget, 92 by the time, if he makes it that long, 94 when he gets out. It's he's done a lot of good things, but he's also done some questionable things that just I give him kudos. He has been real good with keeping with Trump and his policies and stuff. So I'll give him that. He has been putting up a good fight against the FBI and the weaponizations and all that good stuff. He's exposed a lot of stuff. So, but still. I got a whole weird opinion about that, but anyway, speaking of the names, I got Chuck on my name, but Gateway Pundit put out this. It's a guest post, but it's talking about Trump and all of his wonderful names that he's called all these people. He's got them ranked as A plus and then A, but who can the good one-liners of Pencil Neck Adam Schiff, Deranged Jack Smith, Pocahontas, love it, 1,274th Native American, whatever. Broken Old Crow, Mitch McConnell, the low IQ Warhawk Liz Cheney, low energy Jeb Bush, Ron DeSanctimonious. Fat Jerry Nadler, Little Adam Schiff, Crying Chuck Schumer, Palestinian Chuck Schumer. Chucky, there should be more names. I'm surprised he doesn't have more names for Chuck Schumer. Like I said, these names are beautiful. They fit. That resonates to a lot of us voters. And I'm in the Gen X area where yeah we grew up calling everybody names, and yeah we're still here. Maybe we're a little bit more thick skinned. We've been 30 since we were 18, so uh, and now that we're pushing our 50s and beyond, pushing to 60s, we're still in our 30s. It's great. We're a great generation. Um, but these names kind of resonate to us, and especially blue collar and stuff like that. We always have nicknames for people. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. You know, I could tell this funny story. I was working at a place and we'd called this kid a leprechaun, and it went on for a couple of weeks, and he finally got pissed off. It's like, why does everybody keep calling me a leprechaun? I said, who started that? I said, you know what, dude? I'll be honest with you. I started that joke. Why? Why would you say that? I said, okay, first off, you're short. You're a little tubby. I'll give you three reasons. I said, first, you're a little short. You're a little tubby, and you got fire engine red hair. You look like a freaking leprechaun. Sorry. And then he stops he's like, he started to get mad, but then he stopped thinking about it. He goes, damn, you're right. Okay, I get it now. And he started chuckling about it. It wasn't a mean thing. He looked like a leprechaun. So it fit. And he was Irish. And that was the other funny thing. He was Irish American. We get the technical terms in here. White people are the only ones that don't really pissed off about where we came from. Irish American, Italian, German, French American. We don't give a crap. Hey, we all came over here from Europe and said, you know what, we're just Americans. We have the Irish area, we have the Italian area, you have the Chinese area. You know what? For the most part, let's just all get along and get over it. So, the winning just keeps on continuing. Trump's talking. The EU once again has screwed over elections in Romania, looking like that's going to be a staging point for possibly some more wars because it is a NATO country. They have just arrested the winner of their last presidential election, who is anti-war individual. So he just got arrested for crimes against humanity. I'm sure these are some bogus, made-up charges. I mean, Romania is looking more and more corrupt. I mean, it was corrupt a little over a year, 2 years ago when the Tate brothers got arrested over nothing. I know Trump has decided to try to intervene a little bit with that, but that's the corruption over there. They're going to go after that's Soros money. We're That's what we're fighting here in these leftist areas. A lot of George Soros money, which coincidentally he has gotten millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. So he's been using our tax money. I think it was $240 million. Yeah, of through USAID into his organizations, which he's used to pay, and judges and lawyers and all that good stuff. So that's what we're fighting here. Luckily, we've kept it to a little bit smaller areas. But when you get to these European countries, they're tiny. Romania is not that big of a country. A lot of our states over here are bigger than these countries. So um, it don't take much. You can see the infection that's happened in Illinois, New York, and California, and what they've been trying to do in Texas. But we'll take Illinois for example. If you took Cook County out of the equation of Illinois, it's a deep red state. Uh, but because you get some leftists in one area, now you can dictate law across the whole state. In Romania's case, the whole country. So the globalism is still fighting back. It's going to take some time. We got to be patient. Trump's working at breakneck speed. He's put thorns in all their sides. WHO is looking to might be going bankrupt because they rely so much money on the U.S. They rely on our taxpaying money to fund even the UN. United Nations would crumble if we pulled out of there. Nobody else is supporting them as much as we do. Nobody was supporting WHO more than we were. Nobody's supporting NATO more than we are. We need to pull out of these stuff. It does not benefit us one little bit. Nobody's coming here to. You can try to attack us. Ground assault into the United States is kind of futile anyway. It's perfect. We got two mountain ranges that protect the whole center section. Now, if it comes to nuclear war, yeah, we're all kind of screwed. Unless you live in some remote area, Montana, Wyoming. But then again, Wyoming's got some. They've got some missile silos in some of those areas. So, yeah, beware. So, but that's winning. I mean, why should our tax money go to something that's, they push these false narratives of how bad the COVID virus actually was and how bad it wasn't bad at all. So, but like I said, they're showing their skin. They're going to be jumping like flies. Just give it some time. By the time we get to the next election cycle next year, 2026, 250th anniversary of our country. The 2026 elections are going to be, I think it's going to be really different. You're going to see so much more exposed because Doge is supposed to wrap up, remember, by July 4th, 2026, in the 250th year of our country. So, that's going to affect all the elections in 2026. That's July, and we got to go till November. So, how many of these people that are already in office are going to be exposed for helping funnel taxpayers' money into shell companies, into their bank accounts or families' bank accounts? It's always going to be family bank accounts. It's never they're not stupid enough to put it into their own account because that might get audited because they are in a public position. So it always goes to family members. But, in the long run, this is, I love this, that these people are going to be fleeing the ship. But, and that's great. We're trimming down, or people are getting fired, people firing and quitting themselves. Then that's great too. But ultimately, it does boil down to, and I'm not the only one expressing this, that we want arrests. What's been going on, and it's not just these people's fault. This has been going on, like I said, for decades of this money laundering, this obscene money laundering. It's gotten worse over the last 20, 30 years, but also our information and seeing it for our own eyes, where our tax money is going, it is another thing of it. So that helps. But somebody needs to be held accountable. You are misappropriating taxpayers' money for your own purpose. We need arrests. These are, in a way, it's almost like embezzling. I don't see where this is any different than when I look at my local news in some small town. Water clerk has been skimming money off the top here and there and got busted, stealing $10,000. That's embezzlement of taxpayer money. Well, this is embezzlement of taxpayers' money. It's not going to any good operation except for into places that nonprofits that have a 90% overhead cost. I thought about that years ago. It's like, I wonder how hard it would be to start up a nonprofit. I can say that I'm giving to X, Y, or Z, have people start donating me money. I keep 90% of it. Well, I wouldn't keep 90%, to spend some money on advertising because you got to get some money. You got to market. So you got to market that your product, your nonprofit. So you got some costs there. but then you're pocketing the rest of it. So again, a lot of these nonprofits are scams. Always check and see, and this is all the nonprofits are all public knowledge. So check out and see how bad these organizations are that you're donating your money to. Like I won't donate to any cancer society because I know they're all scams. The Red Cross is up there as I think 60, 70%. Uh, Salvation Army is pretty bad. Goodwill is terrible. Goodwill, their CEO makes millions of dollars a year. So just check if you're going to donate money, make sure you know where your money's going. It's bad enough that they're taking money out of your paycheck each week to give to these same companies. Um, Let alone you then on top of that donating more money to them, so you might be able to get a little bit more of a tax break. I'm totally against all the. By the time Doge is said and done, it should be pretty clear that we should not have ever had to pay, and we know we shouldn't have never had to pay income taxes. And I'm looking forward to seeing that in my lifetime that income taxes are abolished once and for all, that we find out the Federal Reserve, which we know is nothing but a huge Ponzi scheme that has been uh, ripping us off. They control the inflation. Inflation is only controlled by one factor, and that's supply and demand. But you can create, if you have a central bank, you can create inflation. You can create a supply and demand with the cash. If cash isn't flowing back and forth, you can bottleneck up production, and then you can throw in some type of bio event to bottleneck some more things, but you're still controlling all of that. It's not, if it was just not messed with at all, and people just traded in hard currency like gold, silver, you would see a better balance of inflation. Inflation would, you would see the supply and demand here and there, but it would not be nearly as bad as what you see now. It's all made up. This is all done on purpose against us. That's why the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 need to be gone. If I had my wish for a constitutional convention and um, we wanted to have new amendments put in, mine would be just to abolish that amendment. I mean, we got rid of we we put in prohibition, and then two amendments later we get rid of that amendment. So we can still do that. We can get rid of that. Um, Again, I know it's not a government. It's not part of the government. It's not part of the government, but it is part of the government. Um, Still, the president appoints who the director is. He's appointing the person that's going to control the supply and demand. So, I mean, it was a little loophole that they used by using the constitutional amendment. They got around the central bank clause. Um, and we got to remember Andrew Jackson. They founding fathers were against us having this a central bank that was backed 100% by the government itself. So they wrote that in there, and their central bank had started. And by the time Jackson got in there, it was starting to get out of control. Inflation's going through the roof, and he stopped it. He put an end to it. And they didn't try it for about another 75 years, and lo and behold, we got it. But that's through the bastardization that uh, Woodrow Wilson gave to us when he started talking about the Constitution, uh, which he despised the Constitution. Woodrow Wilson was he was a progressive. He was one of the founders of the progressiveness. And all progressives hate the Constitution. It is a thorn in their side. They want to get around it. What Woodrow Wilson wrote about and talked about in the late 1800s was about creating the bureaucracy state of America. And in his mind, the Constitution needs to stay with the times, that therefore, if it's to stay with the times, therefore it's a breathable, it's a living document. Uh, and it bends and moves with time as we go on, and so therefore we can read between we can create a lot bigger gray area. But the problem is that's not true. It is a black and white document, and through this bastardization of the Constitution, we've we created these grayer areas and pushed through things. And then, like I said, we get fundamentalist judges, even on the Supreme Court, that one way or another, they are not ruling on what the Constitution is, how the Constitution was wrote, which is all laid out in the Federalist Papers and even the Anti-Federalist Papers. You can read both of them. They give you the layouts and the reasons why everything is the way it is in the Constitution. Uh, so they have no excuse. I mean, we can read through a lot of these arguments, and it baffles me. I'm not a lawyer. I do study a lot of this stuff, and the one thing that gets me a lot is a lot of these cases. Why aren't they even being put into the front of the Supreme Court underneath the 10th Amendment? A lot of these powers that the federal government has taken from us uh, don't exist. They don't have those rights. Like the abortion, the whole uh, abortion bullcrap it's that was a state's rights. The federal that it's not afforded in the Constitution, so therefore it's a state's right. The 10th Amendment gives us that. What the Constitution doesn't give us, it goes to the states. Now, the states were supposed to have more power anyway. The Constitution wasn't even supposed to be that long. And we have to have stupid amendments in there saying that, hey, you know what? Maybe we should treat everybody in this nation fairly. I mean, that's pretty dumb. I mean, when we had to go through and put in the 13th Amendment of saying that you can't own people, come on. Let's get with this here. You shouldn't be owning people. You can own animals. They can do your work, but you should pay people. You can't own people. I mean, that was pretty sad. It took that long, but I mean, and that was even worse for slavery. But um, anyway, that was a good rant. And Doja, I'm loving it. It's going great. We got some more good things coming through with Kennedy. We got a vaccine that's been halted. Their studies have been halted so they can look a little bit more at this information. This is another, what was it? A contract that was $4.7 billion. We're going to halt this, make sure the data is all good and clear. It's probably not going to be good data. There's reasons why Pfizer and Moderna wanted to hide all their information on their vaccines for 75 years. It's just like the Kennedy files, which speaking of the Kennedy files, those haven't been released. The Epstein stuff should be being released. There's a big outcry for that. Hopefully we can get that done fast. Um, there's a couple other things I didn't get to, but all hell's breaking loose. Congrats to Don Bongino and making deputy director of the FBI. Our FBI is now in very, very, very good hands with you and Mr. Cash Patel. I'm getting more trust in our FBI. You guys are clearing house. This is great. So shout out to them, people. And with that, I will say adieu. God bless everybody. Thank you.